I guess my face said it all, because as soon as he saw me, he's like, wait, what? It's positive? Okay, right now I'm just getting out of a cold, so if I sound stuffy or weird, well, it's because of that. This video is to tell you about how I found out I was pregnant. How I found out I was pregnant is kind of a very special subject to me, because it just feels like it's such a miracle. If you don't know this, I had 3 previous miscarriages. So if you want to see a little bit more about that story and my infertility story and journey, you can go ahead and watch my previous video. Basically, I had 3 miscarriages, and my last one was in January of this year. And after that miscarriage, I did not want to try anymore. I was so tired of being on treatment and going through this whole process of getting excited and then getting everything just basically taken away from me, that I just didn't want to do it. I couldn't do it emotionally, I couldn't do it physically, so I talked to my husband and I was like, we're done, at least for this year. And he was very supportive as usual. He said, that's fine, we can try next year. Let's take care of your body. We did, we waited, and everything just seemed normal. You know, I wasn't taking anything. I wasn't taking birth control. I wasn't taking my treatment. And I know this sounds like a given that, okay, well, if you're not taking birth control and you're sexually active, well, you're gonna end up pregnant somehow. But for me, I do have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which basically says or means that my body does not ovulate correctly. I never have regular periods, and it's just, my whole system is a mess. For me to get pregnant, I had to be on treatment. Like, I had to give my body something to trigger it doing its job and actually ovulating correctly and, you know, doing the whole thing. Like, not taking birth control to me was just, you know, you're not gonna get pregnant. But one day I remember feeling just odd. Like, I was feeling off. I wasn't having any pregnancy symptoms. Like, I didn't have any aches or nausea or anything. So I don't know, something inside of me just told me something was off. And I remember telling my husband and 2 of my really close coworkers, it's like, if I didn't know any better, like if I didn't know that this was completely impossible, I would say I'm pregnant. And I remember them telling me, like, you should take a pregnancy test, like, just no, like, go and take it. And I was like, it's impossible. Like, there's just no way that I could be pregnant right now. My coworkers just kept nagging me the whole day. The whole day they were like, you need to go, you need to go, you need to go. So by the end of the day, I had it with them. Like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go take this test just so you can stop bothering me. And we got off of work and I went to the grocery store and I was getting some things. So I went to get them and I went by the pharmacy section of the store, and I was like, okay, I might as well. I buy the pregnancy test and I take it home. I take the pregnancy test. You're supposed to pee on the stick for like 5 seconds or something and just like set it to the side. And that's exactly what I did. Like, I peed on it and I put it to the side. I kid you not, I was not even finished peeing when I look over and it was a positive. Like, there were 2 clear, distinct lines. And this had never happened to me. Usually I would take the test and it was like a very faint line. And that's when I would take like a blood test, or I would go straight to the doctor and he would confirm it. But this, it was like clear pregnant, like positive pregnancy test. And I saw it and I could not even, I was like, this cannot be real. Like, this is not real. This cannot be happening. And not because I didn't want to. Obviously I was really excited, but I couldn't believe it. Like, to me, it was just so impossible that this was happening, that I just couldn't even process it. So I go outside, I go to my husband, and I guess my face said it all, because as soon as he saw me, he's like, wait, what? It's positive? And I was like, yeah. So like, we called my doctor. He was like, you need to come down immediately. I need to check you. I go in, and mind you, all the previous pregnancies, we would go in and we would go to the ultrasound, and it was basically the little sac, and you could see like a little tiny speck inside. And normally what they would say is like, oh, because of your last pregnancy, you're supposed to be like 5-6 weeks along, but the baby's measuring, or the embryo's measuring to being 3 weeks. And because we don't really know when you ovulated because of your syndrome thing, it's nothing to worry about. And then we would go back in 2 weeks and the pregnancy was no longer viable. So we were expecting to go in there and see the same thing, to see the little sac, to see the little speck inside, and to come back in 2 weeks. That was not what happened. Like, the doctor was like, okay, I need to see, blah, blah, blah. He starts the ultrasound, and as soon as he starts it, he's like, there it is. And it was basically like a little tadpole, and it had like this thing in the middle, and it was like flashing. And I remember looking at it, and I was like, is that the heart? And he was like, yeah, that's your baby's heart. And I was like, no, like, you don't understand, like, we've never seen a heartbeat before, like, we've never gotten to this point in the pregnancy. And he was like, well, let's try and see if we can listen to it. And we heard the heartbeat. For any parent that's heard the heartbeat before, like, you are probably with me in the sense that it's like the most beautiful sound you have ever heard in your life. Like, it is the most, like, miraculous thing and precious thing that I have ever heard in my life. And I remember, like, this whole time my husband and I were just kind of like looking at each other in disbelief, like, this, how is this happening? Like, how are we this far along? How does it look so healthy if I literally did nothing to get to this point? The doctor's like, everything's fine, like, it measures correctly, like, you are 6 weeks along, the heartbeat is just perfect, you're right on track. And he stops the ultrasound, he's like, let's go talk about it. And I was like, doctor, like, you don't even understand, like, I wasn't taking care of my body. Like, 2 weeks ago I had this awful, like, rash that I went to the emergency room. I had these, like, medicines put in me, like, I don't even know what they were, but they were really strong, and I'm really scared. And he was like, you're fine, your baby's fine, you need to start taking your medicine. And right now I'm taking four medications, and I took them the very day I found out I was pregnant, and I haven't stopped taking them since. They're basically progesterone, prednisone, a baby aspirin, and my prenatal vitamins. That's it. And I'm taking all those things, and obviously now I'm super taking care of my body, eating correctly, all these things. But that is how we found out I was pregnant. And obviously, when you have gone through miscarriage, getting pregnant again, it's exciting, but you almost don't let yourself get too excited, because you know that it could be taken away from you in a split second. And this is what happened to us. Like, my husband and I were really excited, but we didn't talk about it for a few weeks. Like, the doctor said, I need to see you in 2 weeks. I went back. My husband wasn't here in town. He had to do something, like, from work out of town. So I went by myself, and I was freaking out. All the previous times I would go in for my second scan in that 2 weeks, and it would just be, the pregnancy was no longer viable. So this time I went in there, and no, the baby was growing perfectly, the heartbeat was still there, and I have been going every 4 weeks since. I honestly don't know what we did right to deserve this pregnancy and to be so happy right now, and for everything to just feel like it's falling into place. But I'm so grateful. I want to be documenting this process now, because, well, I honestly don't know if I'll be ever in this situation again, and I don't want to forget anything, and I don't want to miss anything. That is how we found out we were pregnant. If you have any questions, if you want to follow this journey, please hit subscribe or comment in the comment box below, and just stay tuned for more videos. Bye!